The storm had passed, but its fury still echoed in the hearts of the crew. The Sea Serpent lay anchored in a hidden cove, its sails torn, its hull scarred. Yet they had survived, and before them rose the dark cliffs of the Isle of Shadows. The island loomed like a sleeping beast, its peaks clawing at the sky. Mist curled around the trees, and the cries of unseen creatures drifted on the wind. Jack Turner stepped onto the shore first, his boots sinking into the black sand. The map was clutched tight in his hand, its ink glowing faintly in the pale light. He felt as though the island itself was watching him. "It smells of death," muttered old Benjamin. "This place has claimed souls before, and it will claim more." Captain Hayes ignored him. "Form a line. We head inland. Stay sharp." The crew obeyed, though unease weighed on their shoulders. Each man carried a lantern, yet the mist seemed to swallow the light. Their footsteps echoed unnaturally, as if the ground itself remembered every trespasser. The jungle thickened quickly, branches twisting like skeletal arms. Strange symbols were carved into some of the trees, circles, spirals, and marks that seemed older than time. "What do they mean?" whispered a sailor. Jack traced one of the carvings with his fingers. The lines pulsed faintly under his touch, as though alive. "Warnings," he said quietly, or directions. Hours passed as they hacked their way through the dense undergrowth. The air grew heavy, and the calls of birds and beasts faded, replaced by an eerie silence. Even the most hardened sailors felt dread crawling into their bones. At last, they reached a clearing. In its center stood the ruins of a stone altar, cracked and covered in moss. The map seemed to point directly to it. "This is it," Jack breathed, "the first marker." He stepped forward, but the ground beneath the altar shifted. A hollow sound echoed as though the earth itself had spoken. Suddenly, the stone slab cracked open, revealing a staircase spiraling into darkness. The crew froze. None dared move. "Well," Captain Hayes said at last, "fortune favors the bold." He drew his cutlass and descended the steps. One by one, the crew followed, lanterns casting trembling light down the damp walls. The air below was cold, damp, and filled with the stench of ancient rot. Their footsteps echoed through a narrow tunnel, the stone walls slick with moisture. Then came the sound, faint at first, then louder. A low whisper, like many voices speaking at once. The crew halted, hearts pounding. Jack's lantern flickered. "Do you hear it?" he asked. "It's the dead," muttered Benjamin, clutching his rosary. "The island guards its secrets." Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. The walls were carved with scenes of ships, storms, and men kneeling before a towering figure cloaked in shadow. At the center of the chamber lay a great stone chest, bound with rusted chains. The whispers grew louder, circling them like unseen ghosts. Some of the crew backed away, terror on their faces. Jack stepped forward, despite the fear clawing at his chest. "This is it," he said. "The treasure." He placed his hands on the chains. The metal was cold, biting into his skin. The whispers rose to a roar, and then the chest moved, not by his strength, but as if something inside was pushing back. The lid trembled, dust falling into the air. He placed his hands on the chains. The metal was cold, biting into his skin. The whispers rose to a roar, and then the chest moved, not by his strength, but as if something inside was pushing back. The lid trembled, dust falling into the air. End 11. The crew cried out in fear, some dropping their lanterns. Shadows danced across the walls, forming shapes that seemed almost human. Captain Hayes grabbed Jack by the arm. "Enough! We must leave before this place consumes us," but Jack's eyes were fixed on the chest. "No, this is what my father sought." As the lid creaked open, a gust of icy wind swept through, extinguishing every lantern. Darkness swallowed them whole. A terrible voice whispered Jack's name. "Jack!" The crew screamed. To be continued. The adventure has only just begun.
Subscribe to Pirate Tales Audio and join the crew in episode 3.